Hello and welcome back to my channel. We've got a very big week ahead of us. It's double game week 34. So in this video, I'll be going over how my team got on last game week, my transfer plans. I've got 2 free transfers to play around with this week, and I may also take a hit. So stay tuned for that. And then of course, my team selection. If you are enjoying the content on the channel, please do hit that like button down below and subscribe. And now we will get straight into it. So game week 33 was very, very kind to me. I came away with 89 points, which was a nice green arrows, 229,471. I'm nearly at 2,000 overall points. Unless something goes dramatically badly in this game week, I should hit that 2,000 mark, which will be a nice accomplishment. Going into this game week, I've got 2 free transfers and 0.2 million in the bank. I will have a lot more than that because I am planning to transfer Son out this game week. So much money, so many transfers, many decisions to be made. But first, we'll look at my team. So Dubravka, a clean sheet for Newcastle. Didn't see that one coming. 6 points. I've been really, really lucky with Dubravka in recent game weeks. There are a lot of times, though, I wouldn't have actually played him, where I've had Areola out for the game week, I've had no other option but to bring Dubravka in. And it's worked out really, really well, which is quite rare in FPL. But I'm really pleased that Newcastle are managing to keep clean sheets at the moment. And Dubravka has served me very well. And then the rest of the defence isn't quite as jolly, unfortunately. Saliba only 1 point. Arsenal did not keep a clean sheet. I actually played Aït-Nouri over Pinnock, but unfortunately he was out with a calf injury, didn't even feature. Pinnock came on for a grand total of 1 minute. He did return from injury this game week. He got 1 minute in. Seems to have, he's not flagged, so he's going strong, but only 1 point from him. And then Gusto, I did not expect Chelsea to keep clean sheet. The Everton game, Palmer is a legend. We'll get to that in the midfield. But I was so convinced with every goal Chelsea was scoring, I was convinced that they were going to let in a goal. Clean sheet, wonderful. Was really, really pleased that Gusto got that locked in. So 6 points from him. And then the midfield, where to begin with this one? So first of all, we have got Gordon, a huge 17-pointer. Never doubt Gordon away from home. If you have him in your team and you bench him for a home fixture, you're doing it wrong. He is so strong at home, and I don't understand how his performance is so much better when he's playing at St James's Park compared to when he's away. If he could keep up the momentum for away fixtures as well, I don't even know how many points he'd be on by now. He's such a good player, and I was really, really pleased with that 17-pointer. Massively helped my rank this game week. Unfortunately, Son only came away with 1 point this week. Thank goodness I didn't put the captaincy on him. And then Palmer, 26 points. Hats off to people that did captain Palmer. I didn't even consider it, so I can't have any kind of regret for not captaining Palmer. I think I discussed Son, Salah, Saka and Haaland. Palmer didn't even cross my mind. I didn't see Everton being a 6-0 win. Absolutely insane performance from him. He is, thank goodness Chelsea have him. I don't know where we'd be otherwise. Then Salah, another disappointing performance, only 2 points. And then Saka also with 2 points. Then my front three, I'm so used to saying my front two. Solanke, finally, we got a return, so we got 7 points from him. And then I put my captaincy on Haaland. He got 10 points in that game, coming away with 20 in total for my team. So I was really pleased with how things went for this game week. If we have a quick look at the bench, there's not too much to say. Areola and Aït-Nouri were both out with injuries. Mateta was there. He managed to stay quiet. I was a bit concerned after he scored that goal against City that he was going to come away with something from this game week, but thankfully he stayed quiet, so only 2 points there. And then Zabani with 1 point. So now we will get into my current transfer targets for the upcoming game week. I think I'll be using one of my free transfers on a goalkeeper, which is very rare for me. I don't normally use my transfers on keepers, but going into a double, I feel like this is the best opportunity. I've got 2 free transfers to use. I've already got 3 defenders who are doubling up. My front 3 I'm pretty happy with. I've got Solanke and Mateta who both have the double, and then Haaland who I'm too scared to transfer out. And then my midfield we will get to shortly, but there is space for a goalkeeper transfer. So let's start off with Pickford. Now, I do owe people an apology because I absolutely slated Everton assets in my last video, and now look at me coming back with my tail between my legs because I'm considering Pickford for this game week. He's 4.7 million and he's averaging 3.5 points per match. His ownership is fairly high for a keeper at 14.1%, and of course Everton do have 2 home fixtures for their double, which gives them a slight edge. The only thing I'm a bit concerned about is the opportunity for clean sheets in this double. Now, they first of all played Nottingham Forest at home, but Forest at the moment have got so much to fight for, and we saw this at the end of last season. They really, really stepped up their game as we got towards the end of the season. They've got an XG of 8.61, and they've scored in their past 5 fixtures. I can see this continuing. They've really built up momentum now, and we've seen players like Gibbs White really getting into form. Chris Wood has just been... I've been surprised by how good he's been, actually. But they just seem not unstoppable, but they are fighting that relegation. So I think they have got a lot of attack in them, and I don't see Everton being able to keep a clean sheet against them. And then Liverpool, there is no way they're going to keep a clean sheet against Liverpool. If they conceded 6 goals to Chelsea, they've got a whole other thing coming. Liverpool's XG is massive at 15.91. So clean sheets may be off the menu for this one. However, there are various routes to points, and I think both fixtures are going to be really attacking, which gives Pickford the opportunity to get some save points in, and then also bonus points are a potential option there. So I'm not completely ruling out Pickford just because I don't see clean sheets being very likely, but we need to look at those other avenues to getting those points, and I think the save points are going to be the ones I'll probably have to rely on if I do bring in Pickford. Next up, I'm considering Raya. If I was free hitting this week, I'd definitely go for double Arsenal defence. They've got a league high number of clean sheets with 14 in total. I'd probably be looking at bringing in White to go with Saliba, who I've already got. As it stands, I do currently have 3 defenders that are doubling for Gameweek 34, although Aït-Nouri is a little bit of a concern, so maybe he'll come out to make way for Ben White instead. But we are going to look at the keeper. So we've got Raya. He's 5.2 million and he's averaging 4 points per match. I feel a little bit apprehensive about this decision just because Wolves away is a fairly easy fixture, I guess, for Arsenal. They've got an XG of 6.58, but Chelsea's looks a lot more difficult defensively because they've got an XG of 14.10. I also feel as though Chelsea are finally finding a bit of a groove, and by a groove, I mean just give everything to Cole Palmer and he'll manage to carry the rest of the team. But I think that the Chelsea fixture is going to be a really exciting one. It could potentially be very high scoring as well. I don't know how many saves Raya is going to make. I think Pickford may have the edge with that one. But one to consider, so he is there and it's more to get me in with that double Arsenal defence. And then finally, we have got Neto. So my biggest concerns with Raya and with Pickford have been the level of the opposition and quite attacking teams. Now, Neto is the one to probably target if I'm looking for a weaker attack because Bournemouth are facing the weakest attack in the double in terms of XG. Their opponents have got a combined XG of 12.27 with Villa's XG at 5.69 and Wolves at 6.58. The only thing that's maybe putting me off going for Neto is I do already have Zabani, and I don't know whether I want to go all in with that double Bournemouth defence. I feel a bit more comfortable going in with double Arsenal defence, whereas Bournemouth, I don't think I'm quite there yet. However, Neto also ranks joint third alongside Pickford for bonus points. He's picked up 14 so far this season. So I think Neto and Pickford are probably the front runners for me. Whilst I really, really do want a piece of that Arsenal defence, maybe part of me is thinking more in terms of the defenders and getting those attacking returns rather than the clean sheets that Raya may be able to provide, but I'm not fully convinced. So I think at the moment it is between Neto and Pickford. But as always, let me know in the comments what you think and who I should go for. And now we will get to the midfielders that I'm also targeting for this double game week. First up, we have got Kai Havertz. I've been looking for an excuse to bring him in for so long, and now I'm transferring out old Moneybag Son. The 7.4 million price tag doesn't mean anything. I can bring him in and it's fine. He's averaging 4.3 points per match, and he's been in such good form, scoring 5 goals and getting 5 assists since game week 25. Over the past 6 game weeks, he's had 7 shots on target and 4 big chances. He's been getting regular starts since game week 23, so it's safe to assume that he's absolutely nailed for the double. Arsenal are so attacking. They've scored 75 goals this season, which is the second most of any team, and they rank third for XG with 64.56. Considering how attacking Arsenal are, I think these are really, really nice fixtures for the double, and I'll also have Havertz alongside Saka, so hopefully we will get a massive haul from both Arsenal assets. And then coming into Eze, he is 6 million and he's averaging 4.2 points per match. He's only had 19 starts this season, but he's had 7 goals and 3 assists in that time. Not only do Palace have a really, really good home advantage this game week, both their opponents, West Ham and Newcastle, are in the bottom 10 for both goals conceded and expected goals conceded. So this is one where Palace can really run riot. They haven't had the most remarkable season so far. They've had Eze out, they've had Elise out, but now both are back, raring to go, and I think this could be a really, really big game for them, or a big game week for them. I'm a bit apprehensive about doubling up on Palace attack, which is why I might not go for Eze. I have already got Mateta up in my front 3, but Eze is on penalties, and that does give him a little bit of an edge, so maybe this is one to bring him in. It'll be a 1-week punt, and then if he does well, I could bring him in on my wild card. And then finally, talking of punts, we have got Diaz. So if you're chasing fixtures and you want a differential, I think this could be a really, really fun option. He's averaging 4.9 points per match, which is most than Havertz and Eze, I will point out. And he is only 5 million, so an absolute bargain. One of the things that maybe puts me off of bringing him in is I don't really have to think about that cheap budget differential, because where I am transferring out Son, money's not really a huge object this game week, but he is definitely one to consider. Sheffield United have arguably got the best fixtures of the double game week, but they are overlooked because they're not the best team. I think it's fair to say at this point in the season that they will not be staying in the Premier League. However, Burnley at home, Manchester United away, it could be a time for them to get a few goals. Manchester United is obviously the trickier one of the two fixtures, but they've really struggled defensively recently, and they've only kept 2 clean sheets since game week 23. So if you want to have some fun, go for a super differential. I think Brereton Diaz is the one to go for. It's team selection time. So I am going into this double game week hoping that I will finally hit 100 points. It hasn't happened so far this season, and we're running out of occasions for it to happen. Maybe this double will be the time. Starting off in goal, at the moment I have got Pickford. The temptation for those bonus points and save points are too much to avoid. Whilst I'm not a massive fan of the fixtures, they are both home fixtures, and I think that this is going to be my route into points. Then we come to the defence. We've got Saliba in there. We've got Aït-Nouri, which is a little bit of a risk. I am concerned about the calf injury, seeing as he didn't appear against Forest last game week. And I'd just like to say, we all owe that person on Twitter an apology who tweeted that Aït-Nouri was spotted on crutches, and everyone accused him of lying, saying it wasn't true. And then lo and behold, he wasn't even in the squad. So if you are watching, very slim chance that that's happening, but the whole of FPL Twitter should apologise to you. And then we've also got Zabani in there. Now, in the case that we get some early information that Aït-Nouri isn't in the squad, or he's a doubt for one of the fixtures, potentially that first fixture against Arsenal, I've got a few options. I can either bring in Pinnock and hope that his 1 minute cameo in the last game week is enough to solidify himself in the starting 11 for this game against Luton. It is an away fixture for Brentford, but could be one that they'll do well in. Alternatively, I could just stick with Dubravka and then transfer out Aït-Nouri, maybe bring in Ben White, bring in another doubling defender. Or I could just go the whole hog and take a -4 and then still do my transfer to Pickford and then also take out Aït-Nouri for a doubler. So we've got a few options. If you are keen to know my team ahead of the deadline, do subscribe to the channel and join my members section. I will post my team on my Instagram story ahead of the deadline, my private Instagram story for members, and also post it onto the community page. My midfielders have already come up, so I'm obviously rambling too much. We've got Brereton Diaz. I don't know whether I'm going to stick with him, to be seen. Then we've got Palmer. I'm hoping that keeping hold of Palmer will give me a bit of an edge against the free hitters. I think it's probably safe to assume that most free hitters are going to be going for a full squad of doubling players, which does make a lot of sense. But I think if there are going to be goals from Chelsea in that Arsenal fixture, Palmer is going to have some sort of involvement in them. So I'm going to keep hold of him. Then we've got the captaincy on Salah, which I will discuss in a bit more detail very shortly. And then also Saka. And then my front three, we have got Solanke, we've got Mateta, and we've got Haaland, which again, I think Haaland maybe will be transferred out of some free hit teams. If he can have a massive performance against Brighton, that would really, really help me out. I am looking at this team and I think it's very obvious that I should bring in Kai Havertz. So maybe Brereton Diaz isn't going to make it until the deadline, but we'll see how wild I'm feeling. In terms of captaincy, I think it's quite a straightforward decision for me this week and I don't really want to overthink it, but Salah has got that captaincy armband on him, or crown in this case. He's had 17 goals and 9 assists this season, and he's only 3 goals behind Haaland, and he'll be wanting to overtake him and fight for that golden boot. He's been fairly quiet over the last few game weeks, which I think could put people into a bit of a false sense of security that it's fairly safe to transfer him out, but I hope he proves them wrong. He's got a very low goal conversion rate at the moment of 7.7%, but he's had 26 shots, 19 shots in the box and 11 shots on target, which leads the way out of all of the other double game week midfield options. I was thinking about bringing in some other Liverpool attackers this game week, but I think I'm a little bit concerned about rotation, and Salah in terms of a double game week player is exactly what we want to go for. Now for minutes, on penalties, and converting goals by double game week 34. Liverpool's double also really appeals to me, despite them both being away fixtures. They've got Fulham, they've got Everton, and Liverpool have got the best XG in the league at 75.23. They've got so much to fight for, particularly after the previous game week where it was not their time to shine, was it? They're still going to be fighting for that league title. So I think Salah is the one to go for. We could see a massive performance from him over this double game week, and I'll be absolutely kicking myself if he's not my captain. And then we get to the bench. We've got Dubravka on the bench, Palace away. Then we've got Gordon. Gordon, if this was a home fixture, would 100% be my starting 11, but it's not, and hopefully he'll remain quiet as he often does in away fixtures. Then we've got Pinnock, and then we've got Gusto. Feeling quite good about this team, but do let me know in the comments what you think about it, and especially the transfer advice. Please do let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please do also consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next game week. Bye guys.